All right, folks, we have an interesting vehicle today. It is the Corolla Cross Hybrid, and the color is called Acidic Blast. Some say it's like Baja Blast, but it's Acidic Blast. It has 18-inch alloy wheels. It has a sport suspension, and this is the higher-end trim model. So these start around $28,000, and we are going to compare it to a Tesla Model Y. Now, some of you may be like, why are you comparing it to that? It costs more. And the reason is because on the used market is being flooded with used EVs, and people are wondering, should I go electric vehicle? Should I go hybrid vehicle? And I want to show you this thing. It's 45 miles per gallon in the city and 38 miles per gallon highway. You have the 8-inch infotainment system here, which isn't great, to be honest with you. I think they need to kind of redo this. It's just cheap looking. But it does have wireless Apple CarPlay, which is great. You can see it has heated seats down here with 2 settings, high and low. Simplify it for you. You do have your USB-C outlet here for charging. You have a digital display, and it also has EV mode. Now, my complaint with EV mode is it kicks off after about 15 miles per hour. So at lower speeds, you are saving some fuel when the car is running really inefficiently. So we're gonna drive it. We're gonna drive the Model Y. We're gonna kind of compare and contrast the differences between the two and why you might like one over the other. But overall, this vehicle is nice because it adds a lot more space, sits up a little bit higher. It also, this is equipped with the $800 option. It's a JBL audio system. I recommend this. The sound system's actually very nice. It has a subwoofer in the back. Also, I love the black badging here. XSE Hybrid, looks really good in Baja Blast yellow. Corolla Cross. So yeah, we got our little subwoofer in the back, and I don't know about you, it just kind of gets me going when I see a little JBL logo and a sub in the back. It's the little things. So very simple back here. Comes with this cover. You can see it just hooks in. Where's it hooking at? Oh, it hooks in over here. Okay. So it hooks in there, locks into place, and then underneath here you get your compressor because nobody gives you a spare tire anymore. Yep. And that's how that all looks. Now, do golf clubs fit? Yes, they do. Yes, they do. I mean, it's also an automatic trunk, so a nice luxury feature there on a car that starts at $28,000, which, I mean, I guess it is cheap compared to everything else today, but let's take a look at the back seat. So I'm 6 foot tall. Yeah, I got nice room back here. I have nice headroom, even if I'm sitting, you know, nobody sits like this. We all sit like this. We all sit like this. Nobody liked my post. That's how we sit. And then you got your air conditioning back here. Very simple in the back seat. You got your window up and down. And that, oh, sorry, ma'am, didn't mean to put you on camera. So yeah, very simple back seat. It's kind of what you'd expect back here, and then a look up toward the front. So a lot of good visibility, fairly quiet in the cabin. We also have a sunroof, which is nice, but really you're getting this for the efficiency of the vehicle as well as some really nice ergonomics. I just think this is a nice value, and in comparison to a Tesla Model Y, you have to get used to the charging network. You have to charge at home. If you don't live in a house and you live in an apartment, I can see that being annoying, having to go to a charger and sit there for 30 minutes. Let's take it for a drive. Some switches down here. You can turn traction control off here, your automatic lights, your brightness for your displays up here. So here's fully bright and here's dim. And then you have a button down here that automatically opens and closes the trunk, and then you can pop open the gas cap right there as well. So all good features. Again, all simple. Nothing is crazy advanced in here. I do think the $800 option for the sound system is worth it. I think you'll appreciate that for your podcasts and just the music you listen to. Right now we got Tom Green on Joe Rogan. Shout out Tom Green. Yeah, so that's what we got here. Okay, Escalade gonna T-bone me. All right, so the nice thing about driving the hybrid, so we're going 4 or 5 miles per hour. We're in a Costco parking lot right now, which, as you know, is a war zone. And we're just cruising along here, running purely on electricity, and this is where gas engines are extremely inefficient. It's having to run coolant lines, it's having to keep the car cool, it's having maybe get the AC running. There's just so many moving parts going on, and there's so much support that needs to happen to keep it all running efficiently or effectively that it makes the car inefficient. So that's why having a hybrid at these lower speeds or in traffic can be really effective. So that's nice. It's also very quiet. So then I go to 15 miles per hour and it kicks over back into gas mode. And that little transition, in my opinion, is a little clunky. I'm being picky. To be fair, I'm being picky. A lot of times car reviews online, you watch them and they complain about things simply because they're just not used to it or don't prefer it. So it's not that big of a deal. Most people probably won't care, but I'm just letting you know kind of what the car is actually doing. Now, it does have different drive modes, believe it or not. We have sport, normal, and eco. So we'll throw it into sport mode here. And basically, this is just going to give you a little bit more throttle response, let the gears run out more, but this is not, do not get this car. Do not get this car for any type of performance. You will be let down. Listen, it's fully floored, you know? So, you know, the difference when you jump in a Model Y is, you know, the fact that it's going to be, bam, to 60, and you can get those for in the high 20s, low 30s. Now, the Tesla is going to cost you more to insure. You have to worry about charging. On road trips, it's not a big deal. It will take you longer, but the Tesla charging network is excellent. But this being a hybrid, getting 38 miles per gallon on the highway and 45 in the city, that's excellent. And it just takes you 3 minutes to fill up. Gas tanks pump at a maximum of 10 gallons. I think it's 10 gallons a minute is what it is. But yeah, it's very quick and efficient. You're used to it, all that stuff. But as far as driving this, visibility is very nice. A little bit of body roll on turns like that. But overall, I mean, I just think it's a spacious, useful vehicle. One thing to note, I did have a car seat in here, and it's rear facing still. And I had to push this passenger seat up as far as it would go to safely fit the car seat, because you have to leave about this much of a gap between the back of the seat and the back of the car seat, so they're not touching. That way, if an accident happens, there's some travel room to reduce the shock. In that case, you'd have to have someone that's like 5'5" or below to be sitting in this seat comfortably. Anyone else is going to have to sit in the back, or you're gonna have to take a separate car. So that could be an issue if you have two kids that are still in car seats. It could get a little bit tight in here. But other than that, it's a nice car. The suspension feels nice. The digital dash is nice here. It does have EV mode, but when you click it, it says EV mode unavailable, speed or range exceeded. And I don't know. I just wish, like, my favorite EV was the Prius, the plug-in hybrid Prius. I don't know if that was called the Prime or whatever. I'll have that video linked below where I compare it to a Tesla Model 3. I loved that because you could drive it purely in EV mode, and you could floor the car. If you floor the car, it stays in EV mode until you run it to nothing, and that's how I think plug-in hybrid should be. This is not a plug-in hybrid, so I think that's fine. It does have a CVT transmission. I'm not a fan of CVT transmissions because if you floor it, it's like constantly trying to adjust where it thinks you should be. It's a continuously variable transmission is what that stands for. So I'm not a huge fan of those. But again, a lot of people, the person buying this car probably isn't going to care that much about it. But overall, I think they've done a nice job with this. The driving dynamics are nice. Efficiency is going to be great. Insurance is not going to be that much on these. And it adds a little bit of height to it. I think this is a solid, efficient vehicle. They're obviously going to sell a ton of these. So I hope that was like a helpful summary. And again, just leave any comments below if you have any questions on this thing. So now we've covered kind of the basics of the Corolla Cross. Let's jump in the Model Y and see how different that is. Now we are sitting in the Model Y. I have full self-driving going right now. Got the 30 days for free. So now I also know that this is an apples to eggs comparison. The Model Y is bigger. It's at a higher starting price. But because of the good warranty on these, it has a 8-year, 120,000 miles on the battery. I feel like it's worth talking about because where that Corolla Cross is where these are just a year used or 2 years used. So it's worth at least looking into. But if you want a brand new car, the Corolla Cross is significantly less. So what you notice in here, there are no buttons on the infotainment system. It's all within the screen. This screen receives updates, and it's gotten better over time since I bought it back in 2020. There's a bunch of different features. They just gave me full self-driving, so it's taking me to a supercharger right now, and I just have to, you know, keep my eyes on the road. It will steer itself and take me right there, which I think is really cool. Sound system is excellent, has more space, and the supercharger network. So you have to worry about charging this. So if you don't live in a home or you don't live in an apartment where you have easy access to charging while you sleep, in my opinion, that would be a nuisance, and I probably wouldn't want to have an electric vehicle. Now, I have friends, my friend Mark, shout out Mark. He has a Model 3, he lives in an apartment, and he said, yeah, it's no issue. He has free charging at his apartment, so I don't think he ever really goes to superchargers, and that works for him. I feel like it would be a nuisance to me. So on road trips, going around the country in your Model Y, which I have done, I've never had an issue finding a supercharger or not making it to my destination. I've also never had to change my route based on where chargers are to where I need to go. Now, I'm sure there are occasions where that will happen. I just personally haven't dealt with it. But in the Corolla Cross, any trip that's outside of 300 miles, you're gonna get there quicker in the Corolla Cross. I did a cross-country trip. One of them I measured the time. It added an hour of charging going 700 miles. So it's not a lot, but it's getting off the highway, it's stopping, it's charging, all that stuff. It added an hour over 700 miles, so that might maybe help you gauge that. You know, I think hybrids are fine. I also, at the end of the day, get what fits you. Get, what you can afford. Don't stretch yourself. If that's what works for you, go with that. Also, if you're like, I'd like the Corolla, but really I'd like to get a Model Y, or really I'd like to get a Mercedes, or whatever you want to get. If your current car works for you, be patient, save your money, and then be able to afford what you actually want. Don't just take a little step up or satisfy you now when in the future you actually wanted something else. But I really like the Corolla Cross. I like the Toyota Supra. I like the GR Corolla 4. Toyota has an awesome lineup right now. The Grand Highlander is awesome. So they have a lot to offer, a lot of great hybrids, and that's that. So yeah, these cars are fairly different, but they actually come close with a fully loaded Corolla Cross and then just a slightly used Tesla Model Y. I think it's worth looking into. All right, so quick summary here for everyone on the Model Y to the Toyota Cross, comparison. Model Y benefits. It's faster, there's more space, you get over-the-air updates, so your infotainment system gains features. Even me, 4 years after owning the car, I'm getting all the new features that the new models are getting, and then from an owner's perspective, that makes me happy. There's also virtually no maintenance on this thing. A lot of people will say, well, you have to replace the tires more. You are gonna have to replace them more often than the Toyota, that is true, but you're gonna get 30 to 40,000 miles. Now, the benefits of the Toyota: no charging like I'm doing right now. It has Apple CarPlay built into it and it's wireless. You can go further faster because you don't have to deal with charging. And there's dealers all over the place, so servicing them, you don't even have to go to a dealer. There are third-party networks all over the country, all over the world that can service Toyotas. So now that we've talked about the Corolla Cross, you're gonna wanna see the GR4 Corolla. That thing is incredible. Click this video right here. If you watched my Focus ST videos from years ago, you're gonna love this one.